I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Robin Woodman, and I am the Assistant Director of Professional Programs here at Stanford Online and Stanford Engineering Center for Global and Online Education. Thank you for being here today. And now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Pax, to introduce himself, and we can get started. Take it away, Pax.
Thanks, Robin. My name is Pax Haymeyer. I'm the Director of Academic Programs here at the Stanford Engineering Center for Global and Online Education, another mouthful. And if you've joined us before, you might notice the name change. I'm always mentioning that. Before we were the Stanford Center for Professional Development. Now we're the Center for Global and Online Education. You can call us by our acronym, which is pronounced CGO now. So what I want to do right now, before we go into depth, is to give you a kind of 30,000-foot view of what we're going to talk about, and also what's available to you, what kinds of learning experiences are available to all of you at Stanford Online. So broadly speaking, there are three buckets. There's a lot of free content that's available. This includes entire lecture courses where you can watch the recordings. There are program previews, especially for the professional programs, webinars, etc. There's the professional programs, which Robin's going to go into more detail on. And then there's the academic credit. So those are the actual classes that are happening on Stanford's campus that you then can take as an online student and follow along with the on-campus students. You do all the same assignments and you earn the same transcript. So which of these is right for you is going to depend on your thoughts about cost, how much time you have, what kind of space you're going to want to do it in. You're going to try and do all this learning in 1 week because you have a week free. Well, it's probably not going to work on the academic side of things. It might be great for professional, and it could work very well in terms of the free content. So there are a lot of options available to you, and I encourage you to go to our website, Stanford Online, or online.stanford.edu. Take a look at it. If you're interested in seeing what's on our YouTube channel, you can just go to the Stanford Online YouTube channel. And what you'll see there are a lot of materials like this webinar and for session today, other webinars that Robin or I have led with faculty about topics. And you'll also find a lot of material that's produced out of the Stanford classroom. And that'll give you a sense of what our professional and academic programs are like. It'll also give you a chance to learn at your own pace if you're not interested in the professional or academic programs. But with that, I'm going to hand it over to Robin, who's going to go into more detail about the kinds of professional programs that are available in the leadership and business transformation area at Stanford Online.
Thanks, Pax, and thanks for all that context. I think it's so important to note we do have so many great free materials that are on our website, on our social channels, on our YouTube, and it might be that those work out best for you, and that's awesome. As Pax said, we have a lot of these webinars and sessions with faculty and great content, but what we're going to talk about right now are the professional education programs that are available within this content bucket. So that was the middle box that Pax had on the last slide. So there are three programs in the leadership and business portfolio. And as you can see at the top here, they are fully online and self-paced. This means it's Tuesday at 3 p.m. You have gotten approval from your manager, or you want a new skill set and you're ready to start your courses. They are ready and available to you at all times. Self-paced. We have lots of learners that like to do these over their lunch hour. Maybe they have a dedicated block on Saturday morning set aside from 9 to 11 a.m. So these are our three programs here. And I'm going to give you a high-level overview in the next slide for these programs. I just wanted to show you, if you go to our website, online.stanford.edu, this is what you'll see. You'll see the Leading People, Culture, and Innovation program, the Digital Transformation program, and then the Engineering Leadership program. So let's take a closer look here. There's lots of information on these slides too. I just want to let you know during the recording, you could see these again. You have opportunity to ask questions at the end. Maybe at the end, you're like, dang it, I forgot something. Right into our customer service and excellence team. They are so happy to hear from people. So, okay, let's go to this next one here. Okay. I like to see things like this in a matrix. I think it's super helpful to understand what we're looking at here so we can compare and contrast. So the professional education programs, I showed you them on the previous slide, and these are at a glance. What are we looking at here? As Pax said, there's lots of stuff we have here, but it's about determining what is the right fit for you and your learning needs. You can see on the matrix on the left-hand side that many of the categories are the same for each of the 3 programs. For example, there's no application on any of those programs. You can start any of these programs at any time. We have email support from course facilitators. So if you're going through the course and you're like, I don't really understand what's going on with this question, you can hit it within the learning system and you can say, hey, I have a question, and you'll get answered back by a course facilitator. And then where you kind of want to drill in here and look is you want to say, all right, the difference comes in these programs in the course topics. And so when choosing a program or a course, it's about who you are, where you want to go in your career, and what you want to learn. So for example, if you're a people manager and you want to learn how to, and we say here a learning objective, how to elevate your team from good to extraordinary. Great. What does that mean? What does that mean, Robin? Maybe in the Leading People, Culture, and Innovation program, there's a course about leading innovation. There's a whole slew of courses that we have put together as an opportunity to take multiple courses that form a program, and you can learn more about how to lead your team more effectively and how to level up some skills. Maybe you want to learn something new. Maybe you want to have a Stanford certificate on your LinkedIn and on your resume. So these are the kinds of things that are in each program. And then in the middle, we have Digital Transformation Program. And this is for leaders of digital transformation initiatives and how to lead and execute a technology-enabled business transformation. So our digital transformation program. And then over on the right, we have the engineering leadership program. These are for current and aspiring tech managers, how to better communicate, how to be a persuasive negotiator, how to be an influential decision maker. So it's all about kind of exploring on the page, at Stanford about how to, where do I want to go? Where am I at? Where do I want to go? And what skills do I want to take in? Okay, next slide here. I want to show you, there's a couple of ways to engage with these programs. You can purchase what we call the All Access Plan. The All Access Plan is a one-time payment, and you have the content, all the courses within the program for a year. A lot of people like this option because you can take your time, you can go through it. Some people will finish a course and then maybe within their professional role, 6 months later, they have a project that lands on their desk and they're like, oh, I remember learning from Bob Sutton about this. I'm going to go back and revisit that content and pull some of those learnings out. I personally like to do that. So I like the All Access Plan because you get access for the entire year. Or you don't have to purchase a whole program. Maybe you look over the programs and you're like, I really want to level up this skill set about negotiation. I really want this negotiation course within the engineering leadership program. Great. You can buy that course a la carte. You can get access to it for 60 days, and then you'll get a digital record of completion for that. And then if you finish a program, you get a digital program certificate. So for whatever you complete, you're going to get some sort of digital certificate at the end, record of completion or certificate. But it's about like what you want to learn. It's about how much time you have, as Pax said, which I think that's a real thing. How much time do I have to learn this new skill? So a couple of ways to engage there. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to use the engineering leadership program as an example so we can kind of look a little bit closer at what it comprises a program, what exactly are we talking about. So you can see here, if you go to the page and it's linked in your dashboard, the engineering leadership program, it's, you can get a certificate of completion if you finish 4 courses within the certificate. Again, it's online, it's self-paced. You can do the All Access Plan. You can get 1 course if you really want to learn something. And everything is on this page. So let's look a little bit closer. Something I really wanted to touch on here is specifically, these are the instructors within the engineering leadership program. And this is the same for all professional education programs that we offer in this space and across the board. Some professional education at other universities will have maybe non-faculty, non-institution people. All the courses within the programs are faculty who are teaching in the courses. Sometimes they'll invite their colleagues and maybe from industry to have like an interview or to provide some teachings within the module, or if they're masters of that subject matter. But what brings richness to the courses overall is that these are Stanford people. They're Stanford lecturers, they're Stanford faculty. So I offer this to you as a differentiator from sometimes what you'll see from other higher ed institutions. So I just wanted to use this as an example. Again, this is just for the engineering leadership as an example. Okay, so on the course page on the engineering leadership program, these are the courses currently in the program. Again, you can see they're all self-paced, and then you can see an estimate of how long it takes to complete each course. So Becoming a Good Leader is going to be coming out next month. We're very excited about that. And if you look at, for example, Communicating with Confidence, and we're going to take a deeper look at that, you can see here it's 8 hours to take this. It's online, it's self-paced. So as I say, we have a lot of people that like to do a module on their lunch hour, maybe some sustained working on the weekend. And so you can do that really easily with programs. And then overall, for the course structure for these programs, there's no prerequisites. There's nothing to take that you have to do beforehand. You can just enroll in these. For the engineering leadership program, it's geared towards current and aspiring tech managers, not inspiring, but maybe two. And then we have recorded lecture with Stanford instructors and faculty within the courses. And we have written exercises and multiple choice final assessment. You can also, as I talked about earlier, get support from course facilitators via email if you get stuck on something or maybe you have an additional question. And I wanted to kind of show you, we talk about things, but what does it actually look like in the learning system? So this is a snapshot taken from the Communicating with Confidence course. This is Matt Vassar, and you can see he's talking about how you're going to get very specific strategies for communication. Over on the right-hand side, you can see the slide deck, which is downloadable. And then if you toggle, there's a switch. You can also get a transcript of what's being said too, and you can follow along that way. So the lectures are divided up into small video chunks so that you're not sitting in front of something for 45 minutes. Generally, our video clips for faculty lecturing are under 10 minutes each. There's a lot of 3 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. It depends on what makes most sense for the content that you're learning. As I mentioned earlier, we have exercises within our courses. These are all self-paced. There's open response and reflective questions. So Matt Vassar's asking you, hey, as you think about your elevator pitch, ask yourself, what's my 10% message? What's part of my elevator pitch? So these are prompting you to work on something maybe you've had for a while that you're like, I really need to get better at crafting the response when somebody says, what do you do? Or, what's your message about this topic? And so these are the kinds of things that are within the courses within the business and leadership programs. And I've reached the end here of my portion, and Pax is going to take it away for credit-bearing courses. But don't forget, at the end, that was a lot of information, 100%. It's like drinking from the fire hose, but we have a Q&A session at the end. Please feel free to put any questions in. And if I don't have the answer, then I will go away, find the answer, and email it to you. But I will do my best to answer questions. Thanks, everybody. Pax, take it away.
Thanks, Robin. So I'm going to talk about the opportunity to take credit-bearing courses online through the Center for Global and Online Education. So as Robin said, in terms of the professional offerings in the business and leadership space, they tend to be self-paced and fully online. So one big differentiator is these are not self-paced classes, right? This is your chance to take an actual class that's happening at Stanford, to join that class while the on-campus students are also taking it. You will join as an online student. There's a small caveat there, which I'll get to, but you are in the same class. You're going to follow along with all the assignments in the quarter. So that's a 10-week quarter with usually 1 week for exams, for final exams. So you're following along, you're hitting you're doing all the same assignments as the on-campus students, you're taking the same exams, you're following the same deadlines. It's intensive, right? And it's both, what we like to say is it's both an opportunity and a challenge. It's an opportunity because this isn't an extension program. You're just taking the same course that the on-campus students are taking, and you're joining as an online student. On the other hand, it's a challenge because, of course, you're probably not a full-time student. You're balancing work and life, and maybe you're taking one course, and you're going to need to follow along like all the full-time students with a quarter-long course that's very intensive. And a lot of these courses, most of the courses are graduate-level courses in the School of Engineering, and I'll get into what kind of business content we have in the School of Engineering, but they're going to be, most of them probably between 15 to 20 hours a week of work across 10 weeks. So they're very intensive courses. They're going to go in depth. So as Robin was saying, as you're thinking about where you are and what you're trying to achieve, these are the kinds of courses that are going to go in much greater depth. There are a lot of them are very quantitative, even on the business side of things. And they're going to be very structured. They're going to allow you to really learn and master that material. But they are a tremendous time commitment. And also the other thing, it's not just how much time you have, it's that kind of cadence, when you can commit that time. So if you're just able to do one lunch break a week, maybe a professional course is right for you. But if you can commit, significant time each week over a 10-week period, then maybe a credit-bearing course is right for you. So what are these credit-bearing courses? Well, so every year, Stanford Online, the Center for Global and Online Education, we extend about 200 of the engineering classes that are happening on campus. We open them up to individuals like yourself to apply and enroll in those classes. And you apply and enroll on a course-by-course basis. As I said, if you take the course, if you're accepted in the course and you take the course, you're doing all the same work as the on-campus students. You're following along. You're maybe joining office hours over Zoom. You're joining the chats. You're watching recordings of the lectures that are happening on campus. So you're engaging in the same way that most of the on-campus students are engaging. And you're just a student in that class. And at the end of it, you're going to earn a Stanford transcript, just like the on-campus students, and you will earn a grade. Now, what makes it a little bit more flexible than if you're a matriculated student is that you don't need to take a course every quarter. You can apply any quarter that there's a course that interests you. And so maybe you see something I talk about today that you're interested in this spring, and you apply to enroll in that course this spring. You look at the summer offerings and say, there's nothing there for me. There's nothing there for you in the fall, but in the winter, you see another course that interests you. Great. Well, then you apply to enroll in that course. And every time you apply, you submit an application once, we keep it on file. And every time you're interested in enrolling in a course, we submit that application to the relevant department who will review your application. They'll also review your Stanford transcript as you begin to take courses. And they're going to take a look at those things, make sure you meet the prerequisites for the course, the department level prerequisites, review how you're doing at Stanford, and then they will make a decision about whether you can take that course. And as you continue to do well, you can continue to take courses. So there is some flexibility within there, and a lot of our learners are people who maybe aren't interested. They may already have advanced degrees. They might already have a master's degree. Maybe you already have a PhD, and you're really not interested in going back and getting another degree. What you are interested in is maybe you got that master's degree 10 years ago, and there have been some advances in X or Y field, and you want to fill in that gap in your knowledge because it's been 10 years. Great, you can come back and take that single course. Or maybe you already have maybe already have an MBA, but what you're interested now is getting some more technical or quantitative decision analysis skills. And so, but you need some great depth. So you're coming back to take some of those courses. So we have a lot of those students who already have advanced degrees, aren't interested in a degree, or just interested in one or two in-depth courses. Maybe you're thinking about graduate school. You're not quite sure if it's right for you. Maybe you're thinking about Stanford. Well, this is your chance to also take a graduate course at Stanford and see what it's like. Now, if you were admitted into a master's degree in the School of Engineering at Stanford, you can apply up to 18 units that you earn as what we call a non-degree student towards that degree. Again, as long as they're relevant units and you're admitted in that degree program. Now, in addition to degrees, if you are, as I said, this is a course-by-course. You're applying on a course-by-course basis. We do offer about 30 certificates. These are accredited certificates. They're usually collections of 3 to 5 classes. And if you complete those 3 to 5 classes in 3 years, then you will also earn a certificate. Now, you don't need to pursue a certificate. You can just do individual courses. But that's also an option if you want to get more out of that learning experience than just the course experience and the transcript. You can work towards a certificate. Now, I've already said some of these things, but to kind of talk about the business content, particularly that's within the credit-bearing portfolio, as I said, we are within the School of Engineering, and these are, for the most part, graduate level courses within the School of Engineering. So they do tend to be geared towards technical leaders or leaders, so either leaders who are managing engineering teams or who are using technical skills to make, decisions, so quantitative decision analysis. We also have, at Stanford, is well known for a lot of courses around intra and entrepreneurship, especially for technology-based courses or companies. So we have a lot of those kinds of programs, and I'll go into a little bit of detail about what's available. These, of course, are being taught by Stanford faculty. Sometimes they do bring in industry professionals. Either it's the same with our professional programs to provide that valuable context. And by the way, I should pause here. This is one reason why faculty like to have people like you in these classrooms as well, because many of you might be working in a technology firm or at a, another kind of firm, and you're going to be coming into the classroom as a more experienced leader who's bringing that practical experience and maybe applying what you're learning about right now in your work. And that's why faculty do love having this opportunity to bring professionals like yourself into the classroom. As I said, usually you're going to be engaging with the teaching team in just the same way an on-campus student would be. Again, you may not be able to come in person for the office hours, but they should have some online office hours, usually held over a program like Zoom. A lot of them will have some kind of discussion forum where most of the students are posting, and that's where you could also answer or ask questions and engage with the material. These classes are, for the most part, happening and scheduled in Stanford classrooms. We're recording them, we're broadcasting them. There may not be an opportunity to ask questions live. These are often large lecture classes, but you'll be able to watch the recordings at your convenience. Again, it's not the same as a self-paced course, right? These are over a 10-week period, so you're probably going to need to watch those lectures within a day of them occurring so that you can begin working on whatever the next assignment or problem set is that you need to submit. And again, as I said, you are responsible for the same assignments and exams. And I said at the beginning there wasn't one caveat about these being fully online, is if there are in-person exams for that course, you will need to make arrangements wherever you are to take that exam in person. And that usually involves working with someone at your job, maybe your supervisor or an HR representative, to work with us to deliver that exam in person, or going to a testing center or a library that's nearby and making arrangements to take those exams in person. So I did want to put that one caveat. So let me talk a little bit about what kinds of, and we have a lot. Again, there are over 200 engineering courses that are available each year for you to explore. But in terms of the business and business transformation and leadership side, I think of it as three broad categories. So we have what I would call technical management. These tend to be, as I said, around quantitative decision making. So these are three examples. These are core courses within the management, science, and engineering department. These are core courses in their master's degree. So these are things like probabilistic analysis, stochastic modeling, introduction to optimization. If that's exciting you, then these might be the right kinds of courses for you. They will require a strong quantitative background already in order to be able to engage in these. So these will tend to require that you already have maybe even multivariable calculus, but at least single variable calculus, probably some linear algebra under your belt, some probability of statistics. So these are pretty advanced quantitative classes. And what they will teach you to do is to harness those tools to make better decisions as a leader. Now, in addition to those, we do have what I would call or think of as more traditional management courses. Some of these also will require a technical background. But for instance, this spring, we have organizational behavior. This is taking a look at how organizations behave. How do you structure an organization effectively? This is co-taught by a longtime industry leader and one of our faculty, in fact, the chair of the MS&E department this quarter. Then we have the ethical analyst. This is exactly what it says, is how do you analyze and think about the decisions you make ethically? How do you build your own personal ethical framework for making decisions? And by the way, that's, if I remember correctly, is the big final project, is putting together your own ethical framework that you can then carry forward into your decisions as a leader. And then finally, traditional courses like accounting for managers and entrepreneurs. And finally, as I said, we do have a ton of entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship classes. So these are courses like, Global Entrepreneurship Without Borders, which looks at, how do you build global entrepreneurial organizations, the Entrepreneurial Management and Finance course. We just had an informational session on that. That's going to kind of walk you through a simulation of the first, the way the instructor said is it's the first 10 years of a startup. Right, so you walk through everything from the first kind of funding rounds all the way to an exit, and it simulates that and lets you get a sense of what that's like. And then finally, there are courses like this career building course, which is in the chemical engineering department, and it's led by a faculty member who is a chemical engineer, but who's also founded many companies. And it's an opportunity for, it's directed towards a lot of matriculated students who are thinking about their careers and how you translate research into commercial, into sort of commercial ventures. So these are the kinds of courses that we have at the credit-bearing level. Again, they're not self-paced. You're going to be following along in the 10-week quarter. You're going to be doing all the same assignments. They're going to vary. What the experience is like is going to vary a lot between the different courses, depending on how the faculty set it up, just like they would at any other university. And so, it's a very exciting opportunity for people who are interested in maybe, again, filling that one gap they have, or interested in trying out a graduate program. In terms of how you can take these courses, you do need to apply for these courses. As I said, you are approved. You're approved on a course-by-course basis. So you're not admitted into any program. Your application is kept on file, and every time you want to enroll in a course, your application will be resubmitted. And as you begin to take courses, it will be resubmitted with your Stanford transcript, and they will be reviewed by the relevant department. And each department has different department-level standards, and then there are, of course, the prerequisites for the course. That said, the application is fairly simple. It's not like applying to grad school. We do need a statement of purpose. We ask for some personal information, your professional background, and we do need also your educational background. Right? You do need an conferred undergraduate degree in order to take these courses, because they are graduate level courses. And so you would upload your educational transcripts, and that's the application we'd keep on file, and we would be sharing with the departments. We do not review your application until you enroll in a course, and we don't review it, the departments do. So once you enroll in a course, we would forward that to the relevant department. They would review it, and they would make a decision about whether or not to approve you for that particular course. And every time you enroll in a course, again, we would be resubmitting that application to the relevant department. Now, if you're interested, spring enrollments, or enrollment for spring quarter, which begins on March 31st, is open right now. It closes this Sunday, March 16th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're interested in any of those courses or programs that I mentioned earlier, again, go to online.stanford.edu, take a look at what's available, and you can submit an application. As Robin said, that was very much drinking from a fire hose. So we wanted to give this chance to come back and just give you an overview. We'll keep this up for a little bit so you can look at the kind of full range of offerings. Again, the first three columns are the specific programs within the professional program, and that fourth column covers a wide variety of courses and content within the Stanford Online portfolio. One thing I didn't mention is that very bottom row is the pricing. Again, for the credit-bearing courses, you're essentially paying tuition for a single course, and that's calculated on a per-unit basis. I've put the tuition for this academic year down there at the bottom. At that, let's leave this up for a little while, and I see we have a couple of questions.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Pax. Let's leave this up, and maybe we can start answering questions. I can start here on some of the earlier questions that came in about the engineering leadership program, and then also I can speak more generally about professional programs. So at the end of every professional course that we have, there is a final exam at the end of it, and you need to pass the final exam with an 85%. It generally pulls from a bank of questions, anywhere from 20 to 25 questions, and you can take that exam again if you need to in order to get your 85%. So yes, there is an exam. Someone specifically asked about the engineering leadership program. So there's an exam within each course. So that's kind of how that would look. And then in terms of, someone asked about the digital certificate is issued after completion of 4 courses. So yes, the engineering leadership program, it takes successful completion of 4 courses to finish the program, get your digital certificate issued after you finish those 4 courses. However, at the end of each course, and I know this can be a little confusing, at the end of each course, there's a digital record of completion. So it would be, oh, Robin Woodman, congratulations, you finished the Communicating with Confidence course. Here is your record of completion for that course, which is different than I successfully completed 4 courses and then I got my certificate for completing the program. And this is true for all 3 programs, professional programs that I showed you.
And Robin, I'm going to jump in, and we have a question about who can take some of these courses. So for the professional programs, there's no application. If you're an undergraduate student and you're trying to get yourself ready to go out into the workforce, any of these professional programs could be a good fit for you. On the credit-bearing side, you do need to have a conferred bachelor's degree because these courses are graduate-level courses. So you would already have to have a conferred bachelor's degree, not like I'm graduating in June. You need to already have it. And then there's a follow-up question, and I think it's related to the credit-bearing courses. So yes, so these courses are for credit. You do earn a Stanford transcript. If you were admitted into a master's program at another university, whether those units would transfer and how long they would be, that would be up to that university. That's not set by us. At Stanford, if you were to take these courses, you could apply. It's not transfer because they're the same classes. You could apply up to 18 units toward a relevant master's degree. So again, if you took 18 units in management science and engineering and then you were admitted into, say, a history program, they probably wouldn't apply. Maybe they would as electives. But if you were admitted into the management science and engineering program, you might already be about a third of the way through that degree. And I should add one other thing, which I did not mention, is that many of the master's degrees in the School of Engineering are also available to be completed on a part-time basis with the option of doing some or all of the coursework online. So a program like management science and engineering, their master's degree, if you're admitted into it and you decide that you want to stay at your job, you can complete that degree fully online. Doesn't mean you can take every course that's available in the management science and engineering portfolio, but there are enough courses that are available in certain depth areas that you can complete that degree fully online as a part-time student. Let's see here. I see there's some questions about the LEAD program. I think that's through the School of Business. That'll also be available. You can learn more about that on the Stanford Online platform. You can go and take a look more about and learn more about the LEAD program. That said, we're within the School of Engineering. They're within the School of Business, so there's not sort of cross transfer of units. They're different programs led by different schools within the university. But a great question. It's Stanford, a lot of schools, a lot of them doing a lot of educational programs. I see a question about online courses. If you're taking an on-credit-bearing course, would it give you access to the in-person classes? If you're pursuing if you're pursuing a course as a non-degree student, by and large, you are expected to be online. If you were admitted into a master's program, you are a fully matriculated student. And if you would be part-time and you could take an in-person class. If you're local, you'd be able to come in person for classes that aren't offered in our online portfolio. If you enroll in a class that's available online, then you would also have that option of coming in person for the class. But that's because you're a fully matriculated student. As a non-degree student, for the most part, you're expected to be fully online. That said, if you're local, there can be opportunities, of course, to come to campus to meet with project teams, et cetera. And if you are interested in learning more about that, we do special sort of informational sessions just on the credit-bearing courses. And I would encourage you either to find one of those on the Stanford Online YouTube channel. Unfortunately, the last one we did, I was sick and I lost my voice in the middle of it, but you can still definitely watch it. And we'll be doing more of those, probably one this summer as well.
I didn't know that, Pax. The dedication. The dedication.
I had never lost my voice before, but I talk too much.
Well, you have lots of things to say. I see here a question. Are there any live classes for the engineering leadership program? No, not at this time. The program right now that we have available is asynchronous, asynchronous self-paced. So Tuesday afternoon, you're ready to learn, then you're going through it on your own. However, we could have updates and changes to this and maybe offer a different modality for this program in the future. So it would probably be a good idea to sign up to receive updates for announcements for things that are going to happen. But right now, engineering leadership program is an asynchronous program.
And again, a lot of questions just about, in general, these different types of programs. I think what you can see also as we're looking across this matrix, the kind of start and the start, like when you can start the program. and a time commitment, right? So they're kind of, time is this complicated thing. It's both, when you can start it, how much time you're going to have to spend on it, and also kind of the cadence, like when you can spend that time. So when you're looking at these professional offerings, there's a ton of flexibility. You can start anytime. You can do that work whenever you have time to do that work, and you can really fit that to your schedule. Once you move into something like maybe even a live course in another program on the professional programs, or if you're taking a credit-bearing course at that point, right, the start and stop times are going to be very, for the credit-bearing, it's following the quarter system. Again, spring quarter starts March 31st, and so you're going to be 10 weeks out. You're going to be taking that course for those full 10 weeks, and you're going to be spending about 10 to 20 hours each of those weeks, and you're going to have to fit those commitments, that time within each of those weeks, right? So it's a lot more, there's a lot of flexibility in terms of what quarters you take courses, but once you're enrolled in that course, there's much less flexibility. So in terms of thinking about that time commitment, it's really what's going to fit your schedule, what you have time to do, and what's going to meet your learning goals and the outcomes that you're interested in. And other questions here? Looking back through. We've got a couple more coming in. I have a question about PhD level classes. So by and large, in the credit-bearing programs, they're mostly sort of master's level courses. We do occasionally extend PhD level courses, so 300 or 400 level courses at Stanford, 300 level courses at Stanford, or 400 level courses. The caveat I'd say there is, of course, the challenge with offering those is as they get more technical and more advanced, there are fewer people who can take those courses, right? And so the audience is smaller, but we do occasionally offer some of those courses. I would encourage you right now, if you're thinking about any of these programs, is to go to online.stanford.edu. You can click on some of the links that are right there in your dashboard and explore what those offerings are. And again, maybe you came here from business and leadership, but you're discovering that maybe there's something else you're interested in. We have a huge variety of topics that are available. And I will say Stanford Online is the platform, is the gateway into all the programs, all the online programs that are available at Stanford. And so not just those within the School of Engineering, where we're talking about, but those at the School of Business, those at the School of Medicine, those through continuing studies. So there are a lot of options that are available, a lot of ways to learn here at Stanford.
I think that's a great point, Pax, that there's just a lot of stuff on the platform. So I would encourage people to go in, click around, and you'll find the free content. You'll find professional programs. You'll find stuff from School of Engineering, stuff from other schools across campus. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff there that you can engage with for no cost, or all the way up to a, maybe you want a master's degree.
Question again about credit bearing. So in addition, again, we're within the School of Engineering. So most of the courses that we're extending are going to be School of Engineering courses. So the other departments that we work with at the master's and the certificate level, so management, science and engineering, computer science, a majority, the largest number of courses that we extend, perhaps unsurprisingly, because we're Stanford and we're here in Silicon Valley, are computer science, chemical engineering as well, aero and astronautics. So we have quite a few courses there, and a lot of those overlap with computer science around, developing autonomous systems. We also have biomedical data science, which used to be between engineering and School of Medicine, is now fully in School of Medicine. We have another certificate program with epidemiology and population health in the School of Medicine. And we also have some courses in civil and environmental engineering. We have some courses in mechanical engineering. And so we have a variety of courses across the engineering portfolio. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting one of the other big ones, which is electrical engineering. We have a fair number of courses, of course, in electrical engineering. And I should say our organization, the Center for Global and Online Education, we started in the School of Engineering back in 1954, basically in the electrical engineering department. And we've extended and expanded over the last 70 years. So there are a lot of options out there. Again, I would encourage you to go in and explore in more detail, both if you're interested at the course level, the program level, or even the degree level. There are a lot of options. Good question about discounts. I would say take a look at what our sites for the credit bearing. It's tuition, so there's not a discount that's available there. For the professional courses, Robin can speak more to it. There are the all access plan is essentially one way to get everything up front at a slightly reduced price. There are other options, especially if you're a manager of a team and you're saying, hey, this digital transformation program is perfect for my team. I want to get 10 seats. That's also something where you can talk to us. Robin, is there anything you would add to that?
Yes, I would say that the bang for your buck here for professional programs is to purchase the all access plan. So the all access plan is, for example, I think this participant has been asking about the engineering leadership program. So let's take that as an example. So the engineering leadership program, you need to successfully complete 4 courses to earn the certificate. So it's priced for, the all access plan is priced for 4 courses. And then any other subsequent courses that are in the certificate, you are getting those as well. And you have a year to take that. So as far as discounting, the all access plan is discounted because you're getting more courses than you need in order to finish the program. So great question. And then we do have interest-free installment plans when you purchase a program, and you can find those on our program pages, and you can see all the information about that. And if you have any questions, and please do write into our customer service and excellence team, and they would be happy to answer any questions, help you out with anything. They're really great, really a wonderful way to engage with Stanford Online. So we're getting specific questions about payment plans. So there, check out the interest-free installment plans. I can't speak to the specifics of it. I do think it's something like a portion of it down, and then in 30 days you make another payment, and then maybe in 60 days. I can't remember the specifics of them, but it's definitely all laid out on the pages, and you can see everything. And my colleagues at CS&E can help you as well. Someone said, thank you, appreciate you answering my questions. Absolutely, that's what we're here for. So thanks for asking all the questions. Any more questions that we can answer?
Yeah, we've got a few more minutes, so if there are any more questions that are coming in, I see one last one coming in. Again, I encourage you to explore. As we've said, there's a lot of free material available that allow you to learn at your own pace, or just to get a sense of what these programs are like. If I'm correct, Robin, on each of the program pages for the professional programs, there's a link to the program preview. Is that correct? Which is essentially will give you a taste of what that program is like, give you a sense of what it's like to be in the course, and give you an overview of the content. Is that fair?
That is true. That is true. With the caveat for the engineering leadership program, that program preview is coming because that is a newer program. We just launched that program at the very end of October. However, across the board, digital transformation program, which is one that we talked about earlier, there's a program preview for that. And then also for leading people, culture, and innovation program. What that is a selection of some few teachings from different courses, so you can get an idea of what our learning platform looks like, what it's like to hear our faculty provide content in the courses. You can see what an exercise looks like. So it's a short little snippet, so you can get a good idea of what a course would look like before you purchase.
And for the credit-bearing courses and programs, the best place to go would be looking at our Stanford Online YouTube channel, seeing what courses have their lectures available. And I would say for many courses, especially in programs like computer science, you can find their full course syllabi, assignments, everything like that will be publicly available in many of those courses. So if there's something you're interested in, that would be a great place to go. So you can take a look at the lecture recordings, just Google the course number or the course name and see what comes up. Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunities, again, to do this at your own pace. Our goal is really to make these things available. That's kind of our mission within the School of Engineering, is to extend the learning, to extend the research of our faculty and our schools out to a much larger public. I don't, oh, we do have a few more questions coming in. I think there's a question here about transferring credits from existing programs into the degree program. That would really be a question for the department or for the School of Engineering. Well, that'd be a question for the department. And so I don't know how Stanford recognizes or if it recognizes transfer units from other universities. So I would do some research on the department's admission page. They should have information about transfer units. So, but that's not something we necessarily deal with.
I had a great question come in. I wanted to answer specifically and then more broadly. So each individual program has individual requirements. I use the engineering leadership program as an example throughout this session. And the engineering leadership program has a 4-course requirement. Someone is asking about the digital transformation program. The digital transformation program has an 8-course requirement in order to earn the certificate. So you can see at the bottom of this slide that we're looking at now where it says pricing. That's why the all access plan for the digital transformation program is higher than the engineering leadership program because it's a different number of courses that are required to earn the certificate. So thank you for asking that question because I'm sure other people had that same question and that's much appreciated. Thank you.
I see questions about the latest technology. So we do have, so first of all, I would encourage you to take a look at something like the digital transformation program, which will have courses on the latest technology and how to how to think about that in a business context. We do have other courses. We do have other professional courses on the latest technology. We have a program that we just launched on generative AI that you can take a look at and include some courses on the business of generative AI. On the credit-bearing side, it is a School of Engineering, so there are lots of courses on on a lot of cutting-edge technology. Again, with the caveat that these are credit-bearing courses, so they're graduate level courses, so a lot of them tend to be very foundational, theoretical. So if you're taking a course on machine learning, you should expect to be writing mathematical proofs, not necessarily learning about the latest tool, though there are other classes like that as well, even in the credit-bearing space. So yes, the short answer is yes. We have lots of courses within the business programs about the latest technology and within the credit-bearing programs as well. We are, again, as I said, within the School of Engineering. As you can see, even the professional programs all have a kind of technical focus. I see some other questions about pricing. Again, I would encourage you to reach out if you're looking at some, you can ask questions about discounts and those kinds of things for a specific course or a program. You should be able to reach out on the program or the course page. So, yeah. I think we're just about out of time. I want to thank everybody who joined us today. So we really appreciate you joining us and walking through our business and leadership offerings here at the Center for Global and Online Education, Stanford Online. So again, we'll do more informational sessions. We'll do some more informational sessions going forward. I see a question about the product management program. I would encourage you, we have an informational session on the product management program. It'll be available on our YouTube channel. You can also take a look at those program pages. We do have a product management program, so I encourage you to take a look at those. Product management, again, just like here, we have both professional as well as credit-bearing opportunities to take those courses. So we have a very broad portfolio. Again, going to that YouTube channel, you'll find similar informational sessions about our health, our Stanford Online the health and medicine offerings that we have. You can find some on product management. You can find them on artificial intelligence. And you can find very specific ones that just focus on the credit-bearing courses and programs without a kind of content focus, but on broadly what the experience is like and what the application, going in more in depth into some of the questions there. So thank you for joining us today. We'll be having more of these informational sessions. We really appreciate you joining us and asking all your questions. And we hope this was helpful. And again, if you're interested in the professional courses, enroll anytime. If you're interested or thinking about a credit-bearing course, Spring quarter enrollment is open now. It's going to close on March 16th, and then summer enrollment will be opening on April 7th. And we will tell.
Thanks, Pax. This was really fun.
We'll tell Bob Setton you say hi.
We will.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.